Alright, today we're going to talk about igneous rock. So there are three main topics we're going to focus on: formation, texture, or the types of igneous rocks, and composition. So let's start with formation. There are two options when you're forming an igneous rock. They're plutonic, or they form inside the earth from magma, or volcanic setting, like erupting from a volcano. So one will be inside the earth, that's your plutonic formation, inside the earth, and then volcanic would be when it's outside the earth or erupting. Now, we use these two places of formation to kind of divide it by texture, and these are traditionally the names you would hear when you're doing types of igneous rock. So you're going to hear intrusive igneous rocks, which form large crystals from slowly cooling inside the crust, and that gives you a plutonic. That's the plutonic setting we were talking about with formation. So intrusive forms inside the earth and makes large crystals. Extrusive have small or glassy crystals because they cool fast on the surface of the earth. And those are your volcanic formation settings. Now, we're going to do this in lab. We're going to make crystals cooling them from a solution instead of from magma. And we're going to see if we can simulate this difference in texture. Intrusive from cooling slowly and extrusive from cooling quickly by placing our solution in the refrigerator. So we're going to test this theory out in our lab, the crystal lab. The last topic is composition. So you have felsic igneous rocks, which are light in color, and they form from continental crusts. And a great example is granite. So here's a piece of granite. Notice that the crystals are large enough you can see them. There's pink ones, white ones, gray, and black, but they're all very large. Those are your intrusive crystals, and they're light in color, so this would be our felsic, and it definitely is felsic because of the pink. They would form from minerals like quartz and calcite. Our lighter colored minerals make our felsic composition. Now, intermediate is a mix of color, usually from ocean and continental crust mixing together, and examples would be like diorite. And what it does is it takes these light and dark minerals and mixes them together about half and half, so it's half dark and half light, or even a gray color. Mafic is our second to last. It's the last of the common composition types. Mafic is dark in color. It forms on ocean bottoms generally, or from ocean crusts, and it makes a great example, basalt. Basalt is dark in color. Now, if you notice, this one you cannot see the individual crystals. It's small texture. The texture is so small, this would be an extrusive one that formed from volcanoes. So maybe it formed in an oceanic volcano, like in Hawaii would be a great place to find mafic igneous rocks, like basalt. And then ultramafic, very dark or even a greenish color. You often will find gems with ultramafic. There's one called kimberlite where you have diamonds, which I do not have as an example, but it would be great if I did. So those are your ultramafic. So mafic form from dark minerals, and they form things like basalt. You have felsic are your lighter colored rock, and if we put them next to each other, you can definitely tell this is light felsic, dark mafic, and they form from light minerals. And if you mix them both together, you get intermediate, which is a mixture of the two. So keep that in mind about igneous rocks.